Hello, I'm Claire Robertson, and welcome to After LUTV News, where we will discuss interesting topics in news and pop culture with our panel of university press and LUTV news reporters. In 2013, the Association for Education in Journalism and Mass Communication selected October 1st of each year as News Engagement Day. With declining interest and trust in the media, this campaign was created to encourage people to learn more about the news. The Associated Press and the NORC Center for Public Affairs Research and the American Press Institute poll found in 2015 that 2/3 of people surveyed from 18 to 34 gathered their news online. Panel, how do you consume the news, and why is it important to have a healthy diet of news consumption?
I consume my news both in the print form and online, but I only consume my online news through reputable news sources. So I'm not going to Twitter to find out, the details about the Trump phone call to Ukraine.
Right.
Yeah, same way. Like, it's a mix. I think everyone's like a mix, but I think most people, like in general, in the general public, gets it online because it's fast, easy. We have our smartphones and such, so it's so quick and easy. And I think the problem with the distrust is mainly because most people don't actually read the articles these days. They just see the headline. And I think it's one of those problems of like, oh, that one source says it, they share it, and that's it. They don't double check it. They don't even read the article.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's a big talking point. We're always on the go as college students, so the first thing I do when I wake up, my news and media, sometimes I don't have time to turn on the TV, quickly look at my phone on Twitter or with, whatever news outlet may it be, and you see a headline, and it can evoke so many emotions without actually reading the article. And it's like, hold on, let me click it and go ahead and read through the details right quick.
Is anybody actually subscribed to print media? Any
I
kind
am
of
not.
print? No, none?
No.
I am.
You are? And what do you read?
I am subscribed to the Belmont Enterprise and the Houston Chronicle.
Stephen, do you have any print media?
I guess the free newsletters, like updates and stuff
Yeah.
from sometimes the New York Times, sometimes though they're more of a commentator site, Fox and CNN, just so I can compare the both what they're saying and then compare to other news media.
Same. Also, I'm not subscribed. I do check out CNN from time to time, and I do read the university press here from time to time when I have the chance.
Right on. That's a great news source.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not subscribed to any print media. I don't pay for news in any way at all. I have one magazine subscription, but I get all of my news online because I can get what I feel like are reputable sources online, like the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. Even our local news stations have websites now.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't necessarily feel like it's necessary to read print and online. It just happens to be a preference of mine. But I think that, like you said, you can find these reputable news sources online as well, and it's readily available on your phone, so you should definitely take advantage of it.
So what's a reputable source? How can readers know if they're getting accurate information?
I believe you can get accurate information that after a certain amount of time, when you read a report, details and facts come out later. And I feel the more you read a certain source, you can begin to get an understanding of how reputable that source is. And also, as Stephen said, having a variety and comparing these different sources, and then you eventually find somewhere where you like to stay in between.
Yeah, exactly. Because back to the whole social media thing is more news stations are realizing that they really have to survive with like social media because it's fast, quick, Facebook posts, stuff, and it can get a little volatile in the comments, but it's one of those things again, like people kind of just click on it and they're like, they hear, sometimes there's a confirmation bias, but sometimes you gotta like put that down, and as journalists ourselves, we kind of like also had to double check ourselves too, because like that's why we kind of want to see other sources. That's why we kind of want to like make sure we're right.
Well, in the 24-hour news cycle, like you said, everybody is trying to get to the story first.
Yeah.
So you may not even have all the facts available at that time, but you have to report on the story as it is. So what you report on today may be completely different from what you report on tomorrow. So with developing stories, you have to monitor, okay, maybe the full scope isn't really realized yet, and I need to wait before I make my judgment on whatever the situation is. And it also depends on the kind of sources that these journalists or media outlets are talking to. I don't trust articles that don't name sources unless it's about a topic that would be understandable to not name your source.
Like what?
Like if, the person that you're interviewing is in witness protection, obviously you're not going to use that person's name. Or, if you're talking about a sensitive topic such as sexual assault or something, those are the kind of cases where it's understandable that that person wouldn't be named. But if, you're talking about, an unnamed source told me that a police car ran into the John Gray Library. Well, if there's no evidence of that, I'm not going to trust this unnamed source.
And I think follow-up information is important for developing stories like storm coverage, for example, really recently, but also fact-checking that might not happen for another 12 hours or 24 hours. Because in some cases, people that you would expect to be reputable sources can get things wrong or be spreading misinformation on accident or on purpose. Like after a presidential debate, that's fun to watch and you can form opinions, but wait for the fact check to come out afterwards to see if you can hold them up to their statements.
And it's funny because this actually trickles down in every area of media. I tend to watch a lot of sports, and you might have such and such says sources, this person could possibly be traded, and then you find out there were no trade reports at all. It was completely rumors. So then you're sitting there, where did the report come from? Who said this?
And the really important thing is determining fact from opinion, because a lot of opinion pieces can be they can be kind of advertised as news stories, but they're really not. They're opinion pieces, and people can take those as fact. Well, they said this, and this other source says something else, so how am I supposed to know what to believe?
Yeah, that's when you gotta really like double check, see, because sometimes generally people, you'll know, and if you have a very feeling like, I don't feel that's right, double check it. Check your info, do your research, because you don't have to agree with that journalist. Maybe they got it wrong.
Right.
And so you can check it yourself.
Thank you, panel. And thank you for tuning into After LUTV News. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for more LUTV News content. See you next time.